the Speed JPO 303 channel for another episode of my Formula One 26 My Team JPO career mode, and we're racing at the second race of the second season of our Formula One 26 My Team JPO career mode. We're at the Chinese Grand Prix at Shanghai Circuit in episode number 26. If you did miss the previous one, it was the opener of the Australian Grand Prix. If you missed that one, be sure to check it out in my live streaming on Speed JPO 303 and click on the red bell to your right to subscribe to my channel. And leave your links and comments down below to subscribe to youtube.com/@SpeedJPO303. Then also you can go to live streaming on twitch.tv/SpeedJPO303 and follow up to my channel there. Now, if you want to check my AI videos, you can go to Patreon at SpeedGiantess3, and then Pavone Marrero on Instagram, TikTok at SpeedJPO303, and then DeviantArt at SpeedJPO3. Now, the previous race, we had finally had our first 1-2 finish of the season, and what a great job and a great start to bring along the second season of the Formula One 26 My Team JPO career mode, as George Russell came in with the victory and Carlos Sainz moved on into second, and we could be in the same situation in our first sprint format race of the season here in sprint qualifying and then the sprint race itself. So we should be able to have a very good race, but we do have rain coming up on the way for a situation for the main event for 56 laps, so could be a little bit of a longer episode. So in the beginning we could be setting in to go into wets and then go into the inters, then it will dry for a little bit, and then we have to get back into the inters through the end of this thing. But let's see if the Mercedes motors will be a lot more faster than it was last season with the with the Audi. But we're all set and ready to go for episode number 26. Can we try to make it 2 in a row and try to sweep it away at Shanghai International Circuit? We'll see how it will flare out. We know we're going to be just so good in the sprint race, but the question is, how's the main event going to handle?
It's a sprint weekend here at the track, and before we can go racing, we need to go qualifying. Who will be on pole for the sprint to come? We're about to find out.
Radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
Also, congratulations yesterday in the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And what a great job for the second year in a row for Brian Blaney. He won that race fair and square. And he gets the second lobster roll in a row. And what a great job he raced there. They have one more regular season race to go. Now we have this Saturday night at the International Speedway, the running of the Coke Zero 400. Also, congratulations to Lando Norris for winning another Formula One race as well. And what a tough race to have to stop in this last homecoming race at the Suzuka Circuit, because now we're already hearing word that the Suzuka Circuit is going to be used for the Formula E competition. Yeah, Formula E is going to be racing there next year. Well, Formula One now gets out of Sandoval. Now Formula E will be holding events at the Circuit Sandoval from now on.
And we've been pushed down to P20.
Unbelievable that we have to go from Formula 1 to Formula E. There is rumors and talks about a women's Formula E competition, because we heard that possibly Jenny Chapel could be racing at the Formula E competition. And remember, congratulations to championship Tesla Airline. We moved down to P4, but we were a minute 35.729. A little bit too slow. I think in the final corner we just slowed it up a little bit. Still having problems with the pedal over here every time we accelerate. Man, we were so well off the pace. But we still stand in P5.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow.
Okay, good start for Ferrari so far. They're first and third, and then remember the next race is going to be the fastest track in the world at the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. And the fastest rookie right now is Leonardo Foraroli in the Aston Martin Honda.
Okay, mate, radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Dropped to P15.
And we are the fastest with a minute 35.007. We topped it off this time. Very good burst of speed right there, and two car lengths faster than Oscar Piastri. Carlos Sainz is in third.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow.
Nice job for George Russell this time. He gets it a lot more quicker than he did in the first sprint qualifying session. Now let's see what the soft tires will do in the final sprint qualifying session. George Russell off to a good start. Good job for Carlos Sainz. He's in P4.
Radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Well, a minute 34.935. It wasn't as quick. It was a lot more faster, but it looks like all the others have quickened it up a little bit more, but we're still dropping. But Carlos Sainz has got the pole once again.
And that's it for
Carlos
sprint
Sainz is
qualifying.
on the pole,
Plenty
so
more
that's our
coming
first
up
pole
over the
position
rest of the
season in
weekend.
the sprint
So we'll
qualifying.
see you all tomorrow.
I don't know what happened. I think we slowed it up a little bit too much in some of the corners there, but we got a little bit too fast coming out of the hairpin, and I think a little bit too quick out on the second corner there, and that's how we slowed it down. But let's make sure that we don't try to do that in the main event qualifying while we do well. We qualified well in the Australian Grand Prix, but looks like a little bit of a different story here in China. So we will start in P7 here in the Chinese Grand Prix. All right, we are set and ready to go for the Chinese Grand Prix sprint racing, the first one of the season here in China at Shanghai for 19 laps. We try to win it and try maybe sweep it away. See how these the tires will roll. I hope Carlos Sainz will do well too in the sprint race. So our first sprint race of the season for 19 laps at Shanghai. Let's get ready.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before we head into the braking zone of turn 14. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Piastri, Pierre Gasly and Behrman, Russell, Albon, Ocon and Isaac Hadjar, Bortoletto, Bottas, Liam Lawson and Colapinto, Alonso, Stroll, Leonardo Fornaroli and Nico Hülkenberg, Perez, Crawford, Stanez, Cordial, Martins and Pepe Marti rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And alongside me, a man, well, what more can I say? But he's a legend. Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
Okay, radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, here we go.
All right,
I
we are
know
so
what you
ready
can do. Don't let me down.
For our first sprint race of the season here in the Formula 126, my team J-Pro Career Mode in Shanghai Circuit. I guess everyone else is going to go with the mediums, and then a couple of drivers, Oscar Piastri and Alexander Albon in the McLaren, are going to go with softs. But they may wear down too easily after this race, but we're going to stay, but we can stick with our plan and just go with the 19 laps on the medium tires. So let's see if we can try to get those 8 important points and then try to keep the lead maintained a little bit. And then let's see what happens in the main event. And let's hope we can have a better qualifying in the main event when we start that one. So here we go. Let's get ready for our first sprint race of the season.
Okay, incredible parking there, nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts. Keep an eye on the lights, the start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Okay, our first sprint race of the season, ready to locked here in Shanghai. Battle right now with Valtteri Bottas and Williams. Battle with Alexander Albon.
Okay, overtake enabled. Overtake mode active. Overtake active. You've got more power now from the hybrid system. Use boost on the next long straight to get
that
past.
was a nice pass right there. We got so fast when we got that second corner. And we passed the wall right in the turn from Lando Norris. We now move up into P6. We're now right behind Alexander Albon on the second race right now with the McLaren team and right behind the Air Gasly. Another lucky
Nice
pass that we
move,
made
good
there.
job.
There's a pass for Pierre Gasly trying to get the P3 away from McLaren.
Boost mode is available now. Right, the gap to the teammate ahead of us, 4.9 seconds.
You're going to have to be very cautious with these passes when you pass around here at Shanghai. Because if that was on a wider car, we're going to have to win again.
Carlos is pushing really hard now. He's just put in the fastest lap of the race. Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Closing the gap on Oscar Piastri for P2. Once again, the under 18 Tenko 45. Once again, for 1-2. We are closing the gap on the teammate Carlos Sainz.
Tyre condition still looking good. Okay, the car behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap starting to form. reducing the gap to the car behind by a few seconds per lap. Keep it up. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good. I've got information on Stroll. Okay, they're out of this race.
Great for the Aston Martin and Lance Stroll. He's done a lot of this race here in the sprint race after 11 and 19 laps. So closing the gap on Carlos Sainz for the lead.
Okay, you're creating some breathing space between you and the car behind by a few seconds a lap. Really good stuff. Green flag. Okay, mate, boost mode if you need it. Boost mode if you need it.
The sprint race here for the Chinese Grand Prix.
Caution, caution. Okay, this is your final lap of the race. Okay, clear.
The final lap here at the sprint race. And George Russell, by the way, finally went his first sprint race of the season. And what a good job for George Russell. He wins his first sprint race of the season.
Come on, we're on the podium. Good job this weekend. That's a
That was
great
piece of
drive.
driving
Thank
from
you.
7th all the way to the win. That's another 1-2. This is our first ever 1-2 finish in the sprint race. And a good job for George Russell, and also a great
So with the sprint concluded, join us next time for qualifying
Carlos
and of
Sainz.
course the main event, this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix. We'll see you next time.
An impressive job. So now we get a 1-2 finish with Team J445, and that will really get some rack of points for the Constructors' Championship. And a good job for George Russell. He wins the sprint race. He gets 8 points, and Carlos Sainz gets 7. And then Charles Leclerc, 3rd place, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri. Great run for the Brazilian Bortoleto in the Alpine, and then Red Bull gets a top 10, Isaac Hadger. Yeah, what a good job for Pepe Marti, going from dead last all the way to 17th. Roman Stanez, well, who was the fastest rookie? Well, the fastest rookie is once again, I think it's Roman Stanez, but he finished in P18. Because most of the rookies were well down on the order. For Rolly was 24, Cordeal, Roman Stanez, and then Jack Crawford, who DNF in the race with 2 laps to go. Let's take a look at the standings, and now we lead about 8 points over Carlos Sainz with 33, and then 25 points for Carlos Sainz. George Russell's leading with 33 points, and then Leclerc, Norris, and Piastri. And that gives us a total of 58 points, and we're already got a commanding lead now with 29 points ahead of Ferrari. Great job in the sprint race, but now the question is, how's the rain test going to be in the main event? So we have a clean main event qualifying, and hopefully we can qualify early in the final qualifying round before the rain bands come through. We're ready for the main event qualifying, so it's going to be mostly cloudy throughout it, but we may have a little rain coming into the end of it. So see if we can try to get a little bit more quicker and get a good position before the rains come through in the beginning of the main event of the Chinese Grand Prix.
Welcome along to Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, where it's Chinese Grand Prix weekend. But before we can race, we need to qualify. And who's going to take that coveted pole position? How will our grid line up? We're about to find out. Welcome to qualifying.
Okay, let's have a comms check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
All right, we are ready and set for qualifying. So the first qualifying session will be, we may have to qualify earlier because the rain will be, vans are coming through.
Push down to P21.
That was a minute 35.134. Well, George Russell was the fastest and does this good job in the first qualifying session, but we have a couple more to go. But now the real challenge is how the rain is going to affect this race. So let's see if we can try to qualify early and try to get into a good position.
Okay, radio check. Radio check.
Radio check.
right, that's us pushed down into P15.
All right, that was P6 at that time on the soft tires. We ran a little bit too slow with the soft tires. A minute 45.817, with 2 seconds off the pace, but the rain has approached through. And it's got wetter. Well, we did make it to the third qualifying session, and that's all that counts, but Oscar Piastri missed it. But Pierre Gasly didn't. Sergio Perez and the Haas team made it into the top 10, Colapinto, and then Bierman as well.
All right, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Now that we're on the enters, now we can use it. But now we can't use the battery booster because now it's been turned off. P2, minute 49.247. That's the first time we have ever been quicker in the rain. But it's starting to get heavier out there, so we may be able to have another front row start. And that's exactly what we did. Yes, what a good job. We got it into the right time and paid it off. But Charles Leclerc got the pole position. But we made it into P2 with a minute 49.297. It looks like the Mercedes runs a lot more quicker than the Audi does in the rain. And that paid it off pretty well. But Ferrari got the quickest, so we're second fastest with a minute 49.297, while Carlos Sainz is a minute 49.817. And a very good start here for the Chinese Grand Prix. If we race like this in the rain, we know that Mercedes is a much quicker car. Very impressive job in the rain. That's the first time we have ever had a good qualifying in the rain like this. So it's going to be a front row start and a good start here for the Chinese Grand Prix to make it sweep it away in China, in the Shanghai circuit. Outside of the front row, very good start. But now, with 56 laps in the books, in this main event, we're going to start in the beginning with heavy conditions, and then it will clear out, and then the light rain will be returning. So let's see if we can sweep it away for episode number 26 in our Formula 1 26 My Team J4 Career Mode. Here is the Chinese Grand Prix main event.
The Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once again. It's a race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first win with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt there's plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before we head into the braking zone of turn 14. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And starting next to them is George Russell. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Norris, Alex Albon, and Behrman, Ocon, Gasly, Colapinto, and Sergio Perez, Piastri, Alonso, Valtteri Bottas, and Stanez, Hadjar, Lawson, Nico Hülkenberg, and Leonardo Fornaroli, Bortoletto, Stroll, Pepe Marti, Cordial, Crawford, and Victor Martins rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today. Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Okay, radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
All right, well, we might have to put a little bit more fuel into the car, because we may use up a lot. But remember, we may save a little bit of fuel right into the end of this race, because it will clear up after that, and then see what we can do. So we're a little bit more heavier than expected. I think that plus 1019 will be good enough here. So we got a front row start here in the rainy conditions. You know, we have done terrible in the rainy conditions with the Audi, but now the Mercedes is a lot more quicker than the Ferrari. So let's see how the main event will handle.
So the rain's easing off a bit, but the track is still going to be wet for a while. Be careful.
In the next race, we'll have a different livery in this car for episode number 27. We'll go to our Japanese car. This next race is the Japanese Grand Prix of Suzuka. And did race Fernando Norris in the Dutch Grand Prix, but now they no longer race there anymore, because now they give it over to the Formula E that will be racing there. They're also going to be racing at the Coda next year. But the Formula E is pretty much growing its sport, and it's expanding, and now they're taking over some of those Formula One tracks. It's getting better every year, and there's also talks about having, besides Formula One Academy, they could have, they could possibly have Formula E for ladies as well. Someone talks about it. They could have also former Formula One Academy drivers in there too.
Superb parking there, mate. Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
a little bit, but not too much.
Okay, you're doing well out there. Keep it up. We're looking at about 10 more minutes of rain. 10 minutes.
Quite a bit of a challenge here between the two of us, Sainz and Russell. And I think this is a great, big of a change of pace right now with this season and the rain this time, rather than it was with the Audi last season. I guess Mercedes and Ferrari have been the rain maker performance this time.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. And we're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
Man, that was very good.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Ferrari drivers just completed a pass for the lead of the race. You're increasing the gap on the car behind by 0.5 a lap. Okay, looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still definitely on the right tyre for the time being, but we're probably not a million miles away from slick conditions. Carlos is pushing really hard now. He's just put in the fastest lap of the race.
Definitely a sweeping race. It's a good job for Russell and Sainz. They're still 1-2. This is a very amazing concert barn, especially doing a far much improvement in the rain. Audi was terrible in the rain, but it looks like Mercedes
Weather's changing now. We're going to have to change strategy, so it's time to box. Copy. Looks like we're running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly. Carlos is in the pits. Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race. Seems to have been a bit of a problem removing the left front wheel. We need to try and put that behind us though and finish the race strong. Alright, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in this strategy.
And we had a good job for, hey, we had an error in the finish, but we still are leading by about 3.1 seconds of the Carlos line. And we had enough length of the lead to hold on.
Okay, that's all cleared up. Boost and straight mode re-enabled.
Great pit stop now. As you think over, it was an easy pit stop. It was on top of a sizable lead to hold up on it by about 4.3 seconds. If it wasn't for the pit area, if it wasn't for the pit area that we had, going to be the key of the race right there is that pit stop going back into the drive. When we put on the hard tires, they last much longer than the medium tires. We don't need to finish till lap 33, but the question is that rain going to be approaching through again?
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
They did not do the boost until we made the second up and out the pit stop.
Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far. was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done.
Early in the running here in Shanghai, we're running a 10-second lead over Carlos Sainz. That may be enough advantage. You know, we may not be able to lose ground here in the rain this time over Carlos Sainz.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Continuing to with a faster pace, getting quicker and quicker here in Shanghai.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 11.0 seconds.
Look at this lead that we're having, and this is our second 1-2 in a row right now. The 1-2 again for the Team J145. Third is about 18 seconds, but I don't think he'll be able to be catching us now. First and fourth, and a good one for Albon, coming in fifth place, the other decliner.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Well, the sun's peeking back out during Shanghai, but it may not be for long. Later on, more rain will be coming through the Shanghai area. At the 18 and 56 lap, only a 13-second advantage over Carlos Sainz. And that the pit stop and the advantage.
Gap to your teammate behind, 16.6 seconds.
Sainz is leading about 11 seconds now over the car in the front. They staying that way since the rain conditions tapered off. They had rain in the first 10 laps, and then they took advantage on the strategy a little bit, going off in the next lap, and then they stayed on the lead ever since. And it didn't take long to get into lap traffic. All 24 cars are still running in this race here at Shanghai. Hit the Martins just to slow it.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
And pretty early for rain, and it's happened on lap 22. And it's going to be around for 10 minutes, so it came back earlier as expected. And it's coming in about 10 minutes. Well, we may not come in for medium tires after all. We may be changing over to the inches. And we'll stay that way right through the end of the race.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good. Okay, so overtake mode active. We'll get some extra power from the hybrid system now. Use boost on the next long straight to get past. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 20.8 seconds. Expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, now we have another 10 to 15 minutes away of the rain. So it's not going to be coming in lap 30, so it should be able to come maybe around lap 35 or 40. But we're not far away from changing these tires into the medium.
no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums. Okay, we don't think we're far away from rain now. I'll keep you updated as conditions change.
Well, we may not be able to change over to the medium tires after now. The rain has now officially arrived. Near Shanghai. So now it's going to be cars are going to be opening up and then it's going to be raining again.
windows open, so let's box this lap, box this lap.
Yeah, happy.
Gap to your teammate behind, 29.3 seconds. Box, box, box.
Lead by about 30 seconds over our teammate, Sainz, who is still holding up a 22nd lead to stay on second place. So that way Team April 45 can get our second 1-2 punch in a row. We have been waiting a long while to have a 1-2 punch, and the rain has arrived here at Shanghai. They're going to stay out there with these hard tires. See if they're going to make the official call. It's still good. Still in good conditions right now. So not a long race to hit it.
Okay, I think we're still on the right tyres for the time being. The weather's turning, we think it's time to box now. Copy that.
Cool, a little bit too hard in the acceleration.
Okay, let's go now. Come on. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Carlos is in for his stop now. Okay, boost mode and full straight mode have been disabled by stewards because of the conditions, so partial straight mode only. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Okay, so heavy rainfall here to stay for a while. Doesn't look like it's moving on anytime soon. Okay, I think we're still in the right tyres for the time being.
Hopefully in the next race when the Japanese come through, this will become like four.
Okay, so that's a red flag, red flag, no overtaking, and let's get back into the pits, please.
Oh man, and that is our first red flag of the season. In our second season, we were doing such a nice job here. And now everybody is going to be back on the lead lap.
Okay, we've done all right so far, but this is a chance to take a breath. We've got another half of this race to go, and there's still a big opportunity there.
So we're going to be restarting on lap 41, and we may have to go and stay on the inters. Because everything is going to be clearing up, and we could possibly maybe go with the soft tires. So we're going to race the final 16 laps here at the Chinese Grand Prix. So the red flag does come out. Man, I cannot believe it came out. And now that 36-second lead has now been wiped away. All right, let's get back to the action here at lap 41 for the final 16 laps. Can we try to hold on our teammate, Carlos Sainz?
Yeah, again.
Oh, this is a nice start. Oh, not a good start for Carlos Sainz. Not a good start for Carlos Sainz. And Russell had a magnificent start. Everybody comes back into the lap. And look at this, soaking rain. It is heavy rain out there. Oh, looks like we got one car that's blown up. It looks like the front of the Audi. They either have a Audi we have one that is slowed down. The red flag did not come out. That one might be our first retirement of the race.
Right, we're no longer sure that these tyres are the right ones. It might be time to come in and change.
And we may stay out there with these inters because the weather is going to clear up. We may have to stay out there with the final 16 laps here. Right behind Paul Leclerc, and he's right there. Carlos Sainz is going to get the advantage. He's going to make it 3 wide. Look at this, 3 wide going into the hairpin. Man, I am stuck in the middle. Wow. And Carlos Sainz retains to go back into second position after not having a good start on lap 41.
The rain's getting lighter now, but it's going to take a while for the track to dry out.
The rain is going to get lighter, and it is going to get clear once again. We might possibly maybe change over to the soft tires. But Sainz has to hold off against Paul Leclerc.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Man, I can't believe it. We've been wiped away just like that. Russell was doing such a beautiful job out there. And then the red flag has to come out. Oh man, I just got a little bit too fast. Man, I just got a bit too fast. A little bit too fast.
Flag. Okay, and that's a red flag. Red flag. Keep the delta positive, and let's have you straight into the pit lane, please.
That is our second red flag of the race. And it might be a good time because this rain will clear up, and then we might be going over to the dries.
Okay, this is essentially a free stop, so let's think very carefully about our strategy for the rest of this race.
Well, we still have light rain in the area, but it is going to be clearing out. But we have 12 more laps to go, and now we have another chance. But it looks to me that we might have to stay on the inters.
Back on track. Let's make the best of this restart. Let's go.
Here we go. Second restart. First car that is retired from the race, and that is that's the first thing that's the season. Not a good, particularly a good day for the Red Bull Tour. Now we have to talk about a little bit of dirty question with Lando Norris.
situation's an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got for now. The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Well done. Weather's changing now. You might want to review our strategy.
And here we go.
Understood. Copy that.
To the medium. And the weather is finally changing. This is going to be a straight sprint shootout to the finish here in Chinese Grand Prix.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good. Carlos is in the pits. In this lap, in this lap. Push now.
Yeah, then I agree.
Almost Sainz out of the pits, but everybody else is coming in as well. Chief, so that's pretty much about 7 laps to go. And we can maybe go with the soft tires. If we put the soft tires on, it will be much quicker, but I think there's no point in putting the mediums. I think we could do it soft.
Pit now, pit now.
Leading by about 3.8 seconds over Dillon. But now the question is, can we do well in the pit?
Okay, so the stewards have enabled boost mode and full straight mode.
All right, one last pit stop, and we don't have to worry about any rain at all in this final 7 laps.
Right, let's go, come on! That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
Leclerc had a faster pit stop. Sainz stopped in the 4th place. That was a great pit stop by the guy. Another impressive pit stop by George Russell. He has done a terrific job of holding on to this lead here at Shanghai. Up in the voting position, he's trying to get around Lando. For P3. He's able to catch up with third. I guess I wonder why everybody else did not want to go with the softs. Softs will wear out too easily, but there's only 6 laps to go.
Job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
36.813 on the soft. and George Russell going for 2 in a row and sweep here in the Chinese Grand Prix at Shanghai. And again, there were 2 great pit stops that we made, and also doing an excellent job in the lane.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done.
We made the right choice of going with the soft tires because we only had 7 laps to go. Everybody else went with the mediums. And it's really working very well. Carlos Sainz is still trying to get a 1-2 finish for the second time in a row. But he's got to get through Carlos Sainz. He's got to get through Charles Leclerc, excuse me. Harris is running the fourth and a good run
Okay,
again
no
for
issues
Audi
with
Germany.
tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
We now have 2.5 laps remaining here at Shanghai.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 11.3 seconds. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap.
Final lap here at the Chinese Grand Prix last time around at the Shanghai International Circuit. Leading by 11 seconds over Charles Leclerc for Carlos Sainz, our teammate, has one final chance to get around him. He said they're a little bit too far away, but I think that the only way he will get to Charles Leclerc is to go to that long straightaway. But Carlos Sainz is doing very well. Good race for Lando Norris and also a great race for Carlos' new protégé, Audi right in the top 5. Soft tire was a big story at Shanghai. And that worked out so beautifully here in the final 6 laps. And it's 2 wins in a row from Team Daytona 45 Mercedes. But the question is it going to be a 1-2 finish or first and third? And Mortaletto becomes the driver of the day. But what a sensational job getting that front row start.
We've
here
seen
in
a
the main
brilliant
event.
display of the
And George
Russell hustle.
gets
It's
2
George
wins in a
Russell
row.
who wins.
And that's 2 wins in a row now. It's the start of potentially something special, but they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. It's a long way to go.
And Charles Leclerc holds on to finish in 2nd place, so it's not a 1-2 finish for the team.
It's
Daytona
what
45,
every
but at
driver
least we get
imagines
first and
when they
third.
start
But a good
out
job
on
for
their
Carlos
long
Sainz getting a
road
great
towards
effort.
Formula One. And for our lucky 3 today, here's the podium waiting for them. And taking his place on the top step of the podium, he gave it some hustle. Well done to George Russell.
And well done for George Russell in a sweeping effort here at China.
Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
But it's going to give us a rack of points for the Constructors' Championship for two wins in a row for George Russell and the China sweep. So we finished first and third position. Charles Leclerc did a great job, holding up into 2nd place. Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly. It's 11 points after that one. So it's Leclerc and then Sainz got 3rd, Norris and Bierman. Good job for Pierre Gasly with a P6 finish. Oscar Piastri rounds up the top 10. Ocon got 9th. Fernando Alonso, good job for the Racing Bull team. Man, they're going to get 4 points on that one. The Racing Bulls Ford finished in 8th. They were a lot better than the Red Bull Ford. And again, the rookie continues to be Roman Stanez. He's 13th right now. See how the other rookies have done. Cordial did a good job, and P18 for Rowley was 21st, and Jack Crawford was 22nd, and only 1 DNF was Isaac Hadjar. Oh, what a good job. And this is going to be a big change in complexity. So 2 wins in a row gives George Russell 58 points. And then Carlos Sainz now has 40 points. Charles Leclerc 3rd with 39. Norris 4th with 29. And 18 for Ollie Bierman. But 98 points already in the last 2 races. Man, we have swept up the constructors. We're already leading 41 points already over Scuderia Ferrari with 57. McLaren third with 39, 32 for Mercedes, and then Williams rounds out the top 5. How about the Racing Bulls? They're now in 6th place. And not a good start for the Red Bull Racing Ford. They're 7th. But still a lot more racing to go, but it was a great effort and a great job. Let's go to the highlights. best rainy performance we have had in a long while. We have not had a rainy performance like this. And then at the end, we managed to do well in the strategy with the soft tires and pulled away, and then 2 in a row for George Russell. Now, for the first time, we now bonus our settlements, and now we go into the corporate improvement. So now we will prep up in the next race in episode number 27 when we go to the Japanese Grand Prix. And an excellent job for Carlos Sainz and George Russell. I am proud of both of them, and that's why I picked these two drivers and then change over to the Mercedes, and everything is working out beautifully. And now we're going to have a talk with Carlos Sainz, and it's still a great 1-2 effort. And now we have our workhorse milestone completed, and we're still right on top of the charts. Well, let's see about the conversation right now. We're now up into the corpus, but we have plenty of money in place. So now we're going to have talks with Carlos Sainz and see what they can discuss. I don't know, he'll be coming back in the final season, in season 3 of My Team J-Po Career Mode. So we're meeting with them and discuss some things, see what goes on.
Hey boss, really pleased to say that early talks have progressed well, and we're now in a position to have a first meeting with them to learn more about what we're each after. It's a bit of a dance, but it'll be worth it, I think. And remember, it doesn't bind us to them. We can always go elsewhere.
And now we're going to have a meeting with the other teammate, George Russell, already winning 2 wins in a row. But it was a great race, and what an impressive job for both of them. I am proud of both of them.
Things are progressing well. We've got a bit more into the weeds of discussions following that first early meeting. In a good way. You know, details. I'll keep you posted. It's not over the line yet.
But what an excellent job for both of them. I'm proud. We had a great performance in the Chinese Grand Prix, the best performance, even though it wasn't a 1-2 for 2 in a row. But maybe we'll be able to do that in the next one when we go to the Japanese Grand Prix for episode number 27 in the morning. But what a great job for both of them, and great recoveries now and then also, most importantly, a great rainy performance for the Team J445. So an improvement, and what a difference a season makes by changing over to Mercedes and getting a lot more quicker. An excellent job for both of them, and it was a great the sprint race. Now we're back to the normal races for the next one in Japan, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia before the second sprint race. They'll be going to the U.S. Miami Grand Prix at Miami Autodrome. But thanks everyone for watching on the Speed JPO 303 channel. I really enjoyed it a lot, and glad to be back in the driver's seat and after taking a break all weekend. But remember, on Sundays, because now that the football season is coming, we won't be able to do any sim racing on Sunday. We'll have to do it during the weekday and sometimes on Saturday, but we'll do it during the week and then Saturday, and then approaching through that NASCAR 26 game, which will be coming on September 15th, which will be the next 3 weeks. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope everybody has a good night. We'll see you then into the next one in the morning for the Japanese Grand Prix. Until then, so long everyone from the Speed JPO 3 channel. Have a good night.